The divers went down to collect the bodies. There were 12 men on the tugboat when it sank. The families had been notified. The recovery team knew what they would find at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, 30 meters down, in pitch darkness. What they did not expect was a hand reaching out of the dark and touching one of them on the arm. It is May 26, 2013. It is 5 in the morning. You are a cook on a tugboat called the Jascon-4, working in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Nigeria. You are 29 years old. You are wearing your boxer shorts because you were asleep minutes ago. You are in the bathroom. The ship starts going down. You will describe the speed later as something you could not believe. Not a slow list, not a gradual filling. The Jascon-4 goes down fast, a massive wave hitting the vessel and capsizing it in seconds. You feel the floor become the wall become the ceiling. The darkness is immediate and total. There is water everywhere, rising faster than you can process what is happening. You fight toward what you think is the exit. The corridor is flooded, black, disorienting. You bump into 2 of your crewmates. They are also fighting toward the exit. You can hear the sounds of the ship groaning and settling as it descends. You lose track of which way is up. You are pushed away from the exit by the force of the water, not pushed toward safety, pushed away from it. The current inside the sinking ship carries you deeper into the vessel, through a flooded corridor, into another bathroom. And then the ship hits the bottom, and the water stops rising. You are 30 meters underwater, upside down, in a bathroom the size of a large closet, in complete darkness, in your boxer shorts, alone. But you are breathing. The bathroom could not fill completely with water. The geometry of the space, the way the air got trapped when the ship flipped. By pure accident, the room you were pushed into by the force of the flooding water is the one room on the entire ship with a pocket of air large enough to sustain human life. You are breathing because you were pushed in the wrong direction at the right moment. You do not know this yet. Right now, in the dark, you are trying to understand what has happened. You reach out with your hands and feel the walls, the ceiling that is actually the floor, the inch of airspace between your face and the water. You realize the ship has stopped moving. You realize you are at the bottom of the ocean, and you realize you cannot hear anyone else. You call out, nobody answers. You call again. The ship around you is silent except for the sound of metal settling and water moving in the dark. You are alone. In the following hours, you do 3 things that will save your life. The first is that you find a mattress floating in the flooded corridor and drag it into your air pocket. You rig it as a platform so that your body is partially out of the water. This matters because the water temperature is cold enough to cause hypothermia if you are immersed for too long. The mattress keeps part of your body above the waterline. It buys you hours. The second thing you do is find several bottles of Coca-Cola floating in the space around you. You drink them. It is not enough. You will spend 60 hours without real food or water, but it is something. The sugar and the liquid extend your window. The third thing you do is stop moving. You understand in the dark that every breath you take is consuming the air in your pocket. The less you exert yourself, the less oxygen you consume, and the longer the air lasts. You become completely still. You hold yourself against the mattress in the dark and you breathe as slowly and shallowly as you can. And you pray. You will tell journalists later with complete sincerity. All around me was just black and noisy. I was crying and calling on Jesus to rescue me. I prayed so hard. I was so hungry and thirsty and cold, and I was just praying to see some kind of light. 60 hours pass. Outside, on the surface, your family's been told you are dead. The Jascon-4 sank with 12 people aboard. No survivors. The search was called off. Arrangements are being made. Your wife does not know that you are at the bottom of the ocean in your boxer shorts, on a mattress, in the dark, counting your breaths. The diving team that goes down on the third day is not a rescue team. They are a recovery team. Their job is to retrieve the bodies of the 12 crew members so that their families can bury them. It is a routine operation. They expect to find 12 dead men. They send a diver into the ship through one of the access points. The diver moves through the flooded interior with his torch, navigating the inverted corridors, looking for the crew. The water is dark and cold. His torch sweeps through rooms and passageways, and then something touches his arm. In the video, and there is video because the divers had cameras and you can watch this moment, you can see the diver's reaction. He goes completely still. For a moment, he does not move at all. And then a hand comes slowly out of the darkness and touches him again, gently, carefully. The diver does not know what has touched him. In his experience, at the bottom of the ocean in a sunken ship, the things that can touch you are all dead. His entire training and expectation says the person in front of him cannot be alive. But he is. You have been at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean for 60 hours. You have survived on a mattress, on Coca-Cola, on prayer, and on the physics of an air pocket that formed by accident in the exact room you were pushed into. You are barely able to speak. You are severely dehydrated, hypothermic, and your nitrogen levels are dangerously high from 60 hours of breathing compressed air at depth. You cannot be brought to the surface immediately. The pressure differential would kill you. You have to be placed in a diving bell and decompressed for 3 days before you can breathe normal air again. You spend 3 days at the bottom of the ocean, then 3 more days being slowly brought back to the surface. You arrive back in the world of the living nearly a week after the Jascon-4 went down. The other 11 men on your boat were found. All of them were dead. You are the only person to have survived. You were the cook. You were in the bathroom. The water pushed you in the wrong direction. Now here is the part of this story that nobody expects. After everything, after the darkness, after the cold, after 60 hours alone at the bottom of the Atlantic, Harrison Okene decided to become a diver, not a sailor, not a cook on a different ship, a commercial diver, someone who goes down into exactly the kind of dark, flooded, pressurized environment that nearly killed him. He got his certification in 2015, 2 years after the sinking. And the person who handed him his diving diploma was the rescue diver who first touched his arm in the dark. There is a scientific reason Harrison survived that goes beyond luck, although luck was certainly part of it. A physics calculation that was not available to him in the dark, but was happening around him the entire time. The air pocket he was breathing in was approximately 13.5 cubic meters. At 30 meters of depth, with one person consuming oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide continuously, that volume of air would become toxic from carbon dioxide buildup in approximately 56 hours. Harrison was rescued after 60 hours. He was 4 hours past the theoretical limit when they found him. Scientists who analyzed the case afterward believe his survival was possible only because of the specific geometry of the space, the way the water had not completely filled the room, and the fact that he had kept himself almost completely still for the entire duration, consuming as little oxygen as possible, reducing his carbon dioxide output to the absolute minimum. He survived because he was calm. In the worst situation any person can imagine, alone, in total darkness, at the bottom of the ocean, believing he would never be found, he was calm. He said later, "I was just praying to see some kind of light." He saw it. Now I want to hear from you. If you had been in that air pocket, alone in complete darkness, 60 hours at the bottom of the ocean, with no way to signal for help, what would you have done? Would you have stayed still and waited the way he did, or would you have kept trying to find a way out? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. If this kind of story is why you are here, subscribe. Every story on this channel is true. Every one of them ended in a way nobody expected. The next one is already waiting.